Welcome to Hickory Street Podcast. We are here with Abelia. How you doing, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm feeling windy.
I've known you guys for quite a while now. Trying to think. I've known Cameron since he was
Since the Anna days.
Yeah, since like what?
It was 12.
Like you were 18, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn,
6 years.
Yeah, and then you were also in that band. Were you 19 or
Yeah.
like? Are you older than Cameron? You guys were talking about ages
a year
earlier.
older,
So.
yeah. And,
Oh, okay.
That was back when we were a two-piece.
Yeah, well, the Mark DeCenter days were.
Yeah. I don't know why I wasn't even. I forgot about that.
That would have been like what, 2014?
It had to have been.
Yeah, it was like probably just the end of 2014. Because we had all like just graduated high school.
Yeah,
And like Mark DeCenter was right after that.
it's a long ass time ago.
Yeah. We did that Curtain Club show, right? Didn't we play that?
Yeah,
Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, it was a battle of the bands, and that's where I met you and Ryan.
And Reagan.
Reagan, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Reagan and
We're a blast in the past.
Yeah, the Chronicles.
So, let's talk about Abelia. You guys, I would say, I'm sure the people that other people that know who your band are probably say you guys are the least active, but the most notable local band for the level of activity that you are.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, honestly.
I think that's relatively fair.
You play like one show a year.
Yeah, it's been pretty legit.
Super secretive. No, not really.
Not even secretive. Super lazy. Don't want to record our parts.
Big ideas.
Big ideas.
Yeah,
We're a visual band.
Yeah.
Next album name?
Yeah, big ideas.
Yeah.
I know, our plans this year was to put out a single for each quarter. And
What
do an
quarter are
album.
we in now?
We're quarter 2?
Quarter two?
Quarter 2, yeah. Probably quarter 3.
And we have 0 singles. Well, we have. I don't know.
We have one. We have a song.
It's not done.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's not recorded.
Chris
We're
won't
gonna do
record
an
it.
album.
Yeah, it's not.
Chris is the problem. You want to talk about why we're not active? It's all of us. Right now. Right now specifically it's Chris.
It stops off, I feel, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
We all go through random depressions, and it's
Yeah.
dude, can you just record your
It's
parts?
I feel like Josh is the most hyped right now. He's
oh yeah, dude.
he wants to get things done.
Yeah, that's why you keep hearing a bunch of shit from me right now, right? You heard about my fucking solo album, right? It's been, 5 years? I don't know. What about all my covers I keep putting out? I haven't done that in a year or two. I don't know,
No, you
bro.
put out a cover recently, but it was a clip on Facebook. That counts.
Before COVID.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
No,
we're
I've done
already-
shit since COVID. I've been recording and mixing. I'm not putting anything out though. I
Just
feel
you're on your own, just by yourself?
yeah, just
or-
video game covers and fucking
Writing stuff.
or just writing stuff. What do I post it for? Who's gonna see it? But B, what a weird time to post right now, man.
Yeah.
I understand.
don't
You get
know.
e-girls out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I don't know, man. I don't know. So I don't know. Say we do record this single though. I'm saying just a little theory. We do record the single. We put it out. I mean, fucking, what does that say? I don't know. Do we fucking make a statement when we put it out? I feel like we haven't taken a statement as a band yet.
What kind of statement are we gonna put on?
I feel like we've taken first. That's the thing is no one gives a fuck what we think.
Yeah.
Like,
Just to set the record straight. Definitely Black Lives Matters.
yeah, Black
For
Lives Matter,
sure.
trans
But it doesn't
rights,
matter
yeah.
if we say it. It doesn't I don't know.
Yeah,
It's not
we're
it's not impactful.
2 white dudes and we've got Chris.
One Hispanic boy.
Yeah, that's exactly. We don't have any fucking.
There's no weight to that statement.
Yeah,
It's
we're just
okay, a white band that plays 3 shows a
instrumental
year.
songs.
Yeah.
We don't even talk and say anything.
Yeah.
It's just it's so weird. Luckily no one's been why haven't
You
you
can't-
guys posted about it? But
Yeah, I mean, it would be I guess it would be kind of strange to see an instrumental math rock band have just very strong political views that they just, feel the need to constantly put out there. Like, it's okay for a punk band to have that, or like even a metal band or something, but...
If we talked, if we sang at all, we'd have to. But right now, it just feels like we'd be fucking... I don't know. I don't want to come off as virtue signaling. Virtue signaling is a fucking stupid term, but I don't want anybody to think that we're just doing it for clout or anything. Like, I feel like we've taken personal stances.
What did you say? Richard Singling?
Virtue signaling.
Virtue signaling.
So, pretending that you care about a topic just for the clout or whatever. Because, first of all, no one's going to give anybody clout for fucking posting about shit. No one gives a fuck what we post. But second of all, I just also don't want to, cover up other people's fucking conversations. I don't want, not with just a fucking some shitty fucking Sean sounding single. I don't know, what do we do? I don't know.
It's sort of strange too. At least for me, I've noticed that whenever something happens, people are contacting me, asking me what I think about it, and it's well, I don't know why it matters, but this is what I think. And then they're like, you should post about it. And oh, okay, I will, I guess. And so, but there's that weird pressure to just have to put it out there for some reason. And I mean, with everything that has been happening, just tensions being high, I get it. People want to know just where you stand.
People want to know if you're an ally or if you're sitting there in the background. But I mean, you can still post that you're an ally and be fucking racist in the background.
Right. I mean,
people talk about the Denton scene recently. Is there's a bunch of guys who pretend to be super liberal, but then they're kind of rapey or kind of creepy. But they put on that front of being super lefty or super progressive. Because it lessens the guard down. You think that they're cool, and they just slip in their fucking weird ideas. I don't know, man.
There's so many of those people.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
It's so cyclical. It's I don't know, if you don't have anything to say, then it's your fault for being quiet. But then if you do say something, you just,
that's what it is.
You're an asshole.
Yeah. Something recently happened, and one of my they were asking someone. One of my buddies who runs a page that doesn't even get a whole lot of traction, but just has enough attention in Denton that something happened and people were reaching out to him wanting him to comment on it, and it was this person has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm doing, but they still want me to make a statement just because they know me and they feel if I don't say something that I'm taking their side or whatever. I don't know. It seems sort of silly on some levels. Whatever is someone else's business should be their business. I understand that. Yeah, we're in a community, and the artistic community is much less forgiving about certain things than any other kind of community. But also, I think a lot of it just sort of goes without needing to be said. You know what I mean?
One of the problems with our scene is that we live in a super liberal bubble, so it's I think a little bit harder for people in this scene to what am I trying to say? I think it's hard for people in this scene to feel like they need to take a stand, because it feels like a lot of people in the scene kind of live their life like they're taking a stand already. They already live in a place where everybody around agrees with these similar ideas. But I mean, it's just coming to such a head with I don't know, the rest of Texas that's racist compared to the Denton scene.
Right.
I don't know. And it makes sense to take a stand, I guess. But also, I've seen bands try to use it to promote their own clout and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I would want it to avoid, is just making it seem like we're definitely just trying to clout chase, and I just don't want to deal with that.
I think I made some small personal statement on my page, and that was it. I've been to fucking protests, but I don't want to fucking post that I'm going to protest and stuff, because I don't want anyone to have that stupid mindset of oh, it's virtue. Fuck you, fuck my band, fuck any band. That's what this is about. No one cares. I don't care what your band does. I care what you do.
Yeah.
And I can see using your band page, but your 2,000, 1,000, 3,000 likes or whatever aren't gonna do much either. So I don't know, man. It's a weird time.
Yeah, it is a weird time, and that's why I got completely off of social media. I was
respect for that.
I was just tired of because I am someone that has strong opinions about certain things, and yeah, my opinions are differently than other people. Just because I have strong opinions doesn't mean I hate anybody else for their opinions or whatever. You know what I mean? But
yeah, exactly.
People are not. I've noticed that people that have strong opinions are not normally like that. You know, like some people that have strong opinions want to argue with you and like try to convince you of their side a lot of the time, especially like in the scene. And so it got to a point where it was like people were that's what was happening basically. Is like something would happen in the news and I would just like not pay attention to it, and they would tell me about it and be like, hey, you need to say something about this. And I was like, I mean, do I need to? I only just found out about it. Like, yeah, I have strong opinions, but you know, I don't know if. And so, yeah, it just sort of became a problem where, like, anytime anything happened, I was getting contacted by people who weren't even musicians that were just wanting me to say shit.
Yeah.
And so, and also just for the pure aspect of just privacy. You're volunteering a level of information about yourself all the time.
Oh, yeah.
On social media.
I wouldn't even say a level. I would say, like, by now, you probably already have all of your information out there. Like, not that you should keep giving it, but I mean, like, between Google, between social media, between everything, like, because people always talk about, like, oh, my phone's recording me. Like, for the most part, they prove that wrong. Phones don't need to record you. Like, they already have so much information on you, they know what you're talking about.
Right, yeah.
They don't need to fucking hear you to know that. Shit's crazy, bro. So yeah, you definitely probably stay off social media. But I'm definitely one of those people that goes on social media, just looks for, like, idiots talking shit about stuff, and I just start fights. Like, I don't know, man. I just have so much fun dunking on racists.
That's his fetish.
Yeah, dude. It's fun, bro. So yeah, I definitely feel you on those, like, band kids or whatever that just go online and just talk shit all day, because that's me, bro. I'm one of those bully trolls.
Well, I wasn't expecting this conversation to go this way, but since we're talking about it, I felt like in a lot of ways that our generation, the millennials that like were at a young enough age to buy into the whole social media crave, without understanding its implications, were sort of taken advantage of because
totally. I mean, kids nowadays just growing up on like phones and tablets without even really understanding.
That's the thing, is like our generation was kind of fucked, but like he's right, the younger generations, like, they're even more indoctrinated with, like, between TikTok and stuff being owned by like a Chinese company and having like questionable social, like, privacy standards, like things like that. Like, Facebook's terrible and we fucked up by going into it. But like, I mean, yeah, we had stuff like fucking Neopets being run by Scientologists. We got fucking MySpace. Did you know that? Yeah, that's real.
What? Neopets were run by Scientologists?
Yeah, it was created by Scientologists. It's some weird shit, bro. It's real, though.
Neopets is weird. Cool, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we were the coolest kids, yeah. I don't know, man. Shit's weird. The social media is like...
Well, here's where my thinking went to it, at least, is in order for a society to function, you have to have leaders within society, no matter what it is. You have to have leaders that are credible enough to get a cause moving, whatever that cause is. And with the fact that our generation bought into social media so early, science has proven that your brain isn't fully developed until the age of 26, 27. So,
I believe it, honestly. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it's mainly because the frontal cortex is the last thing that develops, and that takes a very long time. And so the fact that we bought into it at such an early age, I think you can get a MySpace or a Facebook at like the age of 11 or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I was on 4chan at 12, bro. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, but you can like technically get it, but like just I mean, think about all the stupid things you've probably said online at like being an 18, 16 year old kid, even fucking like an early 20, 21, 22 year old.
Oh yeah, I was an idiot, bro.
I was too.
People still get called out for shit from like years ago,
right?
And, like, have their careers ruined by like.
And I feel like people are not taking into context the fact that they were just. I mean that was a representative of the time. Like that's what history is people thought the way they thought, not because they were not because they themselves were consciously racist or something,
or like held as a,
but because it was the social custom. It was ingrained in the culture so much that they weren't even conscious of the fact that what they were like saying was ignorant or wrong, because it was just
there's like so many shows now that even like 2 years ago you'd be like, could they really get away with those kind of jokes like nowadays?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was actually talking to my friend Lucas about this. Like we were talking about we were talking about Borat, the movie Borat, and just how just like wild it would be if that movie tried to come out now. There'd be almost no way. They would just have so much backlash.
It's crazy, dude. You can go through like most TV shows, and like there's going to be like 1 or 2 or 3 like homophobic or like transphobic, some sort of scene that's just like, oh, that was just like early 2000s.
Even one of my favorite movies, Superbad. Like,
oh yeah,
they make so many like gay jokes.
Judd Apatow, he makes like a lot of great movies, but like, and one of the things about like Judd Apatow's writing with that movie is like, I mean, he's writing a pretty good role for fucking teenagers in that movie. Like teenagers legitimately do act like that and say that stuff. Yeah. Even if it is problematic, it's accurate.
A very good coming of age movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it hit a little different.
I don't know, man. I think even more important than the shit that we say when we grow up is like, you gotta also take into consideration, like, with us being like raised on social media, we're taking in so many fucking ideas. Like, fuck the stupid shit we're saying. Everybody else is saying stupid shit constantly, and from like such a young age, like you're taking in like these random ideas, and you're listening to people who sound sensible and stuff, and like you can be misled.
You were talking about
easily.
Earlier how people just surround themselves by people they agree with too. That's like super dangerous. I feel like with social media, like you can just
every single like pocket of like belief.
I didn't like what you said there. Block.
Yeah, people are just like, if you don't agree with this, then delete me. And it's like you're just putting yourself in this corner with only people that agree with like your extreme opinions. You're only gonna like further groups of extreme
you're
people.
Ideologically coddling yourself.
Yeah, basically. So many like discourse arguments are just like, I don't know, man. It's pretty much, just like, if you don't... That's another thing that pisses me off, is when people are talking about the Black Lives Movement, and they're just like, if you don't believe in this, fucking delete me. I'm just like, bro, you're white. This isn't about you, first of all. But, like, second of all, like, man, just talk to those people. Tell them why they're wrong. Like, it takes... I don't know. Another side of it is, like, black people shouldn't have to explain to you what the fuck racism is and why it happens, but, like... Most other people can. I can. I will. I'll go and just fucking tell somebody. I'm not gonna, like, fucking sit there and, like... avoid an argument because I want to just block somebody. Like, just fucking have the conversation, or like pretend you don't pretend you want to talk about it if you're just gonna like block anybody with the outside opinion. Right, or just listen and acknowledge and then move on. Like I mean, there's things that every person probably says and does on a daily basis that they don't even like recognize where they got it from or like where it's coming from, and that's the level that I'm talking about. Is like a lot of the social issues, people are just not conscious of it, so you can't really like get upset and like angry at them to a certain extent. Like you like can, but that's not necessarily coming from them. It's coming from a grandparent. It's coming from a parent,
it's coming from
some niche forum,
right, or like a circle group that they have been involved in for years that they didn't realize was affecting them this way, or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's a complicated issue, and people are sort of strange from the standpoint that we tend to like absorb our environments very well. So like the people that we surround ourselves with really do influence the way that we perceive and view the world to like a large extent, which is why whenever you're dating someone, you tend to like pick up on like the words that they use or like the things that they do and like sort of adopt them or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and so just whenever you're close with people, as like even in a friendship, you that just naturally happens for people. And so I mean, this isn't necessarily an issue of one particular individual, because it's like a
human thing.
Well, yeah, it's a cultural issue, and culture is just so ingrained. It's been formulated over hundreds and hundreds of years, like especially just in America. It's like almost 300 years. You think about how that's a long time for something to fester within a society. You know,
I would definitely call America festering. That makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know, but kind of changing the topic a little bit. Hickory's not too much. It's kind of in line with what we were talking about, but the whole cancel culture thing that we've been talking about recently too is just it's sort of ironic in a lot of ways, just because you can get in trouble for just saying something, but the reality is like you can literally say fucking anything on social media and you don't even have to believe it.
It's crazy.
You can just say it, and in the same way that you can in real life, but the problem is that text is ambiguous.
There's no context in text.
Right. It's really, you can't take, you don't know what that person was feeling in the moment whenever they said that, and you don't know what their mood is, but also you don't know tone.
Absolutely. You can't read sarcasm.
You can't get tone. Right. You can't get tone from a soundbite. There's or at least a text soundbite.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like this, it's just impossible. So I mean,
there's like a line though. Then it's like that's the Shane Dawson argument. Which, let's get on to that. Let's just move on to him.
What is that?
So Shane Dawson's a YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
Like
he was big when I was like a kid.
Yeah,
so like, but he's still going. He's like 30.
Oh,
so
shit.
dudes talk. He's made jokes in this podcast about how like fucking.
Some pedophilia.
I'm not a pedophile.
Yeah.
But like, what if I thought like a pedophile? So he looked up like naked baby or whatever, and like all this other shit. And I'm just like, Shane, shut the fuck up. First of all, don't even talk about this shit. And then he talks about like nutting on his cat and like all this other shit.
Yeah. He says he didn't actually do it, but like he like wanted to get views on his podcast.
His argument for everything is that I was trolling. My entire persona is shock culture, and like that's true, and he probably is. But it's not funny, so it's not a good joke, bro.
Yeah, it's still pretty cringy.
But I mean, there is that line of like, where you can just say something offensive and fucked up online, and you could be saying it ironically as if you're making fun of an opposite perspective. That happens all the time. I can just shitpost pretending that I'm a Republican, making fun of Republicans, but it can be easily read as like, oh, this guy believes this thing, and it's like, oh, this is a stupid idea. I would never believe this.
Right.
But that said, though, like if you do scour through my internet, I've tried to go and delete stuff. I've definitely said the fucking N-word online when I was a little teenager. I don't think Everhard are, as far as I know.
Luckily, yeah.
Yeah, dude, like
there's a few covers out there, but it's okay.
Yeah, I used to do rap songs, and I've covered Lil Wayne songs and stuff. So like, I've definitely you can find me and cancel me. But like, yeah, I mean, like I'm just gonna be real, it's gonna out there. But yeah, no, I mean,
you didn't hide it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're out there.
Yeah, dude, like, well, I deleted my Tumblr. Is that so you can't find my original rap songs, But yeah, I don't know, man. So I'm definitely like, if you want to cancel me, go ahead. But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I've done enough ally shit to like, I I have enough good book points.
I feel like the cancel culture thing is such a double-edged sword, you know? Because like a lot of
sometimes it's good.
Genuinely need to be canceled.
Yeah.
But then they aren't. Like Chris Brown, you just beat the shit out of Rihanna and just
he's
move on with
good,
your
yeah.
life.
Well, so like ultimately it doesn't matter because if you're famous enough or if you like have enough power, you're not gonna get canceled.
Fucking 6ix9ine, him too, creepy ass dude, making hella big bucks at Nicki Minaj right now.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That song sucked.
That's the thing. Trolls, it was okay.
It was so
The beat was okay.
No, it wasn't.
Nicki's titties looking fat. That's all I'll say.
Jesus.
Okay, cool.
Oh man.
Then, dude, everyone's been talking about like Joe Swanson, or not Joe Swanson, Cleveland Brown from Family Guy. He just fucking stepped down from his role because he's a white dude. Did you know Cleveland was a white dude?
No, I
didn't know that either.
I didn't get like why that was so significant.
It isn't. He stepped down and people basically took it as cancel culture.
Wait,
dude quit.
Because he's white, people got upset. And
I don't think anybody got upset.
He stepped down?
He stepped down without anybody. Basically, what happened is Kristen Bell and Jenny Slate both stepped down from different mixed roles, like on Big Mouth and Central Park. Jenny Slate on, what is it? The point being, they're both super white and they're not mixed at all. So they both just stepped down because they were like, it's kind of weird because it's kind of like blackface, but for voiceovers. Because it's one thing to recast a character as black and now they're white, like whitewashing or whatever. Who cares? Whatever. If you found a white dude who can do the role better for some anime film, who cares? Fuck it. Talking to you, Scarlett Johansson. But then, he stepped down. But like, I mean, he's done the show for 20 years. He had his own Cleveland show.
Yeah,
he's got games, got movies. He probably doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I think, there's a lot of things that are just changing right now. And, like, I think another thing is, like, people are talking about how, like, outraged people are. Like, it's probably, like, 20 people on Twitter. Like, I don't think a lot of people really give a shit that Cleveland was voiced by a white guy, you know?
Yeah, and it's just amplification, and that's what social media does, is it amplifies everything, you know?
Not even just social media, but also, like, social media in tandem with media.
Media just amplifies everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why if you turn on the news, it's just bad shit happening all the time, and it makes you feel like, oh shit, the world is fucking crazy. I don't ever want to leave my house, you know.
Censoring things, though.
But
like,
you walk outside and have a conversation with someone. It's like, that's not what it's like.
Yeah.
You know?
It's chill. Yeah.
So,
like, local media was trying to. They didn't cover any of the protests that were happening. You know, they would just like report out that there was riots and that there was like chaos happening, and there honestly really kind of wasn't. In Dallas, at least, you know. And I know in other states there were, and there were like video proof of that. But in Dallas, there wasn't really any like massive riots or anything like that. But there definitely were, police shooting.
Oh yeah, literally entrapment.
Yeah.
They fucking trap people onto bridges and they just shoot at them and then let them go home or detain them.
And then the news says like that protesters rioted, and it's kind of crazy. And it's weird.
And then it's all, man, what about that guy in Dallas who was defending businesses? Like, he wasn't defending any businesses. He was defending quote unquote his neighborhood, and he charged at people with a fucking machete.
He was defending Billy Can-Can. Billy Can-Can that's like a fucking restaurant. This guy's a fucking idiot. He chased people with a machete.
Bro, in Fort Worth, like, usually people are chill, but there's this corridor in Fort Worth where everyone was protesting bars and stuff walking down, and these like 8 or like 10 fucking like bike cops show up. First of all, you're on a bike, you don't look very threatening, and they just wouldn't make eye contact with anybody. There's this one woman of color who was talking to this guy, and she was just like, dude, you can do better than this. Like, people here don't respect you. The people in my fucking corp, the people from the army, they respect me for being a veteran. What are you doing with your life? Go join the army, fight for your country. Don't do this. You're wasting your fucking time. Just won't look at anybody. Just doesn't mean it's kind of. And they fucking eventually just leave. And then a little bit after, there was like some fucking racist dude up above who was like spitting down at protesters and like, dude, people are crazy. It's Corona season. You're gonna spit on people?
Yeah. Well, and here's the I think the more unspoken aspect of just the chaos that happens at a protest or a riot or whatever. It gives all of the people that have had the negative energy just kind of building up within them an excuse to go out and release it and be shitty. You know what I mean? Like it's just in a chaotic situation, it just gives people that like that push to go out and be crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You can sit there and shitpost online all you want, but I mean, when you go out and you see someone protesting and you spit on them, like that's assault. Like, that's a police charge. Like, if people found you, he would have gotten hurt.
People are getting arrested for less.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
a little bit of marijuana.
Yeah, exactly.
10 years.
Shit's crazy, bro. Like, you have a fucking, I don't know, man. The thing is, like, I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say anywhere. I don't remember what I was saying anymore. just blank.
Well, so when did Abelia start?
I don't know. It's been a long time. I'm like more like, I think we're all just like more focused on like what's gonna happen with Abelia.
Oh yeah, are we even gonna continue being a band? That's the bigger question.
I feel like, well, to me, it's just like that's not really a question. It's just like it's up to us, to decide if we're gonna like not do music. But I feel like all of us still want to do music, so it's like it's chill.
I mean, I feel like as long as we all do music like Abelia, it's going to continue to be a thing. Like, we're all going to keep making music together, so...
It's pretty chill.
Yeah, I doubt I'm going to go and, like, break out of a solo project and just, like, write an Abelia song. Like, it's not the same. I can do emo tappy shit. It's not Abelia, though. Like, nothing has that vibe, that energy. So, like, I don't know. Plus, a lot of the problem is, like... So let's just get this over with. We basically are like...
It's weird with Corona because we've always, like, jammed together to write. Like, we've always written in person. We've never really
had,
like, the whole
final
remote...
nail in the stone, I think. The first, I think, like, the nail being presented was fucking Tia's not ready for Abelia right now. Fucking, so we don't know if we want to push forward with writing stuff without her. Like, I recorded bass lines for the single, but, like, I'm not happy with them. Like, I wrote the bass on Inked, but, like... I don't want to go back to that. Like, I like having Tia on bass. Like, she takes our ideas. Like, I usually like, write like an outline of bass or something, and she just fucking...
I didn't realize you guys were still jamming with her. So she still comes and practices with you guys?
No, right now.
I mean, we haven't had a practice in a while.
Yeah, we haven't been a full band for a minute. Any of the shows we've been playing with like a laptop for a bass. We tried like getting like our homie Danny to play bass for us. Rest in peace. And he's cool. He's great. He's good at bass. We're all good at bass. Everybody else is great at bass, but it's not the same bassist.
No one's like as good as. It's because it's hard to find a bassist who's like that good, who's gonna do it just because they genuinely want to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
and there's like right up her vein too with like the Seafire stuff. Like, there's a really cool dynamic.
Yeah, it was a good vibe.
And you guys could play shows together, and it made sense.
It was nice, like seeing her like play riffs that are like better than my riffs, playing them better than I can in her own band, and then she comes in and like takes my bass lines and just tries to like throw spaghetti at the wall till it works. And like, it just did work. It was like a process, but like, man, like I don't think we can get a bassist that does that again. So like right now it's just the laptop. So it's like, do we push out this new single when A, who the fuck wants to hear from us? B, is it a good single? I don't know. And then 3, we don't got Tia, so it's like, man, it's a weird place. But how did Abelia start? I wasn't there for that.
Yeah. I mean, Chris and I just started jamming, like, you know, we would get off work and just, like, you know, riff ideas and everything. And then we started, like, saving ideas. And we did, like, a couple covers and stuff, too. Like, I think we did a Pliny track.
Tartan Feathered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe, like, one other thing. And then we were like, yeah, we should just do, like, a band instead. Because the Mark to Center thing, I think was kind of slow at that point.
It was very slow, yeah.
Yeah, we weren't really doing anything. Everyone was kind of like off in their separate ways, and so we started doing the 2-piece thing.
Yeah, we were like, let's hit this hope.
Yeah, and we probably have like, we had most of Inked, I think.
We had like all of Inked written.
Yeah, you had like part of Fruit Salad not written. That was.
Oh yeah, and then you finished it.
Yeah. So most of Inked was written, and then Josh came in like right before recording it.
Yeah, literally
2 weeks before.
Yeah. So I like saw them play a show, and my band played with them. Praying for Science, rest in peace. I played drums in that band and did screams and backup vocals. And
Praying for Science?
Yeah, we were like a kind of like progressive Coheed band.
Cool.
We also we have a whole album for that band too. We shot vocals for that one also. I have a habit of doing that. I've got 2 full albums right now I haven't released because I'm fucking lazy. But I saw them and I was like, I talked to Cam on Facebook and shit before, so I was like, oh, I'm just gonna shake his hand, say what's up, dude, and he just fucking like walked right past me. Did not fucking know who I was. But Chris came up to me after the show and he was like, yo, dude, your fucking bass sounds badass, because we had a 2x15 with torn speakers. It sounded
enormous. Yeah.
Damn.
Shit was fucked up and sounded good.
And like the speakers were fucked up, so they would clip a little bit. I don't know. I got like my PP gets hard for like lo-fi shit.
Yeah.
So.
Plus the head had fuzz built in too. It was nice. So the fuzz with the torn speakers, they're such big ass speakers.
That sounded good.
Ooh man, that you can't beat it, bro. PV, bro. So Chris walks up and he's like, yo, bass sounds good. And I was like, damn, you guys sound good too. Do you guys need a guitarist? And he was like, maybe a bassist. And we started talking. So I drive all the way up from Richardson, all the way out to goddamn Anna, Texas. Oh my god. So first of all,
I was living with Reagan.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
I actually forgot you were living with him.
In a band with Reagan.
For like a little less than a year.
Yeah, that was such a flex.
Wait a second. I have a question before you continue.
Yeah.
I think I might have been there for the beginning of Abelia accidentally. Because remember whenever you were recording for my third demo album or whatever?
Yeah, we did the single car sessions. It was in that same.
Yeah, it was in the same studio.
Justin, right?
Yeah, Justin recorded it.
Yeah.
Justin
and I remember at our last practice or something, you came over and jammed. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Okay,
honestly.
you came over and you guys were jamming and you were doing like some math rock shit. I think you were doing a cover, maybe. And you showed me this thing on guitar and I like recorded it and then tried it on my own and got like pissed off and just never looked at it again. But was that what you were talking about? Like whenever he would come over after work and jam, was that like kind of like around the same time?
Yeah, I think it was right around there.
Oh, okay. So then after you left that house in Dallas, you moved out to Anna, and that's whenever you joined the band. Then.
Yeah, because Chris would drive up and we would practice up there. And that's where we recorded the album too, was in some random house in Anna. So Josh, like
the Inked album.
The first time we met Josh was like
shit.
He drove like an hour north into like, it was like these country roads.
He thought he was gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
No, first of all, Cam sent me the wrong address. So I show up to some random fucking farmhouse and there's like dogs everywhere, like, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And they're like, hey, who are you looking for? And I'm like, the Sather family? Probably your drums? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, let me text this guy and let me get out of here. I get fucking shot for being on their property. So I finally make it, and I think there's a pear tree or something. And they start telling me there's scorpions out here. Like, fuck. So we start jamming. And I had just sold like my Marshall valve state, so I'm playing through a guitar cab with a bass head, same bass head I used for my fucking other band, and that shit was fucking crazy.
Yeah, the cleans were pretty good.
They taught me how to play fucking quintuplets, like opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Like, I didn't know what that shit was. I didn't know what fucking quintuplets was. They're playing Avalanche, and I'm like, oh, these are sixes, right? And they're like, no, almost. They're fives. And I'm like, fives? This shit blew my mind. I stepped in, learned 2 songs, came back next week, learned 2 more songs, came back next week, learned 2 more songs,
and then we
recorded drums that night. We went to Denny's and we fucking like got some food and shit.
3 a.m.
Yeah, we just stayed up all night, just like a fucking slumber party, just like talking random bullshit to each other.
It was over like 2 days, wasn't it? That we like recorded everything.
It was a whole weekend. Yeah,
like a whole weekend. Yeah.
I remember when you left or whatever, and me and Chris were just sitting there recording fucking like a demo part for a song, and Reagan was like, "Hey, you guys gotta leave." That was great.
Did that happen?
Wait, why did he tell you to leave?
Just because we were sitting in his house, and he thought, like, why the fuck are they still here recording guitar
Neither of them
parts
lived there. I think I work or something.
Probably,
I was working remote. I would like go to the McDonald's down the road and like use their Wi-Fi.
Oh, so you would stay at the house while he would go to work?
Yeah. Eventually, we got the drums done in one weekend. We started recording on my guitarist's Fender Reverb, I think, and we recorded all the guitars with that amp except for Avalanche, which was with a PV valve state. No,
Windsor.
PV Windsor.
That was sick.
And so all our guitar parts on the first album were like all the same amp and stuff, so I had to like try to separate them with EQ. It sounds like dog shit.
Sounds terrible.
It still sounds better than our second EP somehow. I don't know what the fuck we did wrong with that one, but pretty much, yeah, we just like toured around with that one, just like fucking went around to like little small Texas tours, and eventually we found Tia and fucking Seafire, and we were like, yo, dude. Saw her on Instagram. I was like, yo, you should join our band. And she was like, oh, maybe. And so she did. And we just fucking like, we re-recorded our second EP 3 times. I don't know how to explain that.
You recorded the second EP 3 times?
Probably more,
from
honestly.
start to finish.
Yeah, like the entire thing.
Not including demos. Not
including demos.
Yeah. We would just like get the fucking final product, and we were like, wow, this kind of sucks. Like shit, yeah. So we would just like, borrow mics from somebody or something, and like redo drums, and then redo everything, and like, wow, this sucks again. You know, I really think I'm just gonna program the drums this time and play what I programmed, and he did, and it sounded good. But then like, fuck, we had to re-record it again to fit those tracks, so we did.
It was a long process.
So the drums on the second EP are programmed?
No, they're all live. But that was when I had like 3 of the tracks I'd written before programming, but then I had like kind of figured out programming was a thing, and so I was on the road and just like sitting in a car, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try programming drums for a song that we'd already written, and then that was just like.
So that was like your writing practice.
I programmed stuff that was, stuff I couldn't play yet. It was like way harder.
It's not improvised, yeah.
So I had to come back home and like learn it, and that took a whole, that was a whole process to do. And then had to retrack those like live.
So you changed your parts for the songs?
Yeah, I changed the parts for the drums at least once on like 2 of the tracks.
There's little ideas and flourishes we had, but like honestly, we mainly just re-recorded it because it was dog shit. It wasn't even like our ideas were bad. Like it just sounded bad. So we were just like, it still sounds
just
bad.
Like sound quality.
Just like bad mixing, bad miking, bad writing, like everything. I don't know. There's lots of little things. It just added to it being.
Josh did like all of the mixing on Calamari, so that was like.
It was a hard test.
That was a big learning process, and you like.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I didn't realize that. I mean, it sounded. I really like the second EP. I've listened to it a few times.
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I've been getting a lot of people hitting me up telling me they like the second EP.
That's news to me.
Your effort came through
really
to some people.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think some tracks on EP2 sound good. I think 69 Microsleep.
And BK.
I mean, it's a huge improvement from where Inked was at. Like, I mean, you listen to Inked, it's
clearer.
I think the cymbals out of phase. Like, we didn't know much about recording at all then.
There's a lot of technical issues. And I just feel like Inked is more cohesive. Like, as shitty as it sounds.
As an album.
It sounds like characteristic. It sounds like it comes from, like, a lost time. Like, it's weird. Like, it sounds mixed properly for how bad the mix is. Like, for how bad the sounds are, it's mixed well. But then, like...
But even the sounds really aren't that bad,
they're not,
honestly.
They're just weird. Like, they're not, like, conventional tones for, like, drums and stuff. But, like, they sound cool, though, I guess. But they just sound a little bit
Well, I think that really works in your favor, because, like, if you spent the money and recorded in a nice studio or whatever.
Vision Records and...
Right. You have a very nice, crisp sounding record, but...
Then you sound like every other Swampcore band.
Well, you kind of fall into the trap of sounding like the recordings kind of sounding too clean in a way.
Better than live.
Yeah, because if it's almost like if you don't have at least a little bit of authenticity within it, it doesn't seem to like grab the listener as well. You know what I mean? Like it just sounds
digital and like
right.
Yeah.
Like whenever we recorded in a nicer studio the second time than we did the first time. But the second time we recorded in Austin, the studio was really nice, but I purposely wanted to capture a lot of room noise.
Oh, yeah.
And so the sound engineer just kind of naturally wanted to isolate everything, and we had the drums set up in a room and everything, but I specifically told her, like, hey, try to put, like, a few extra room mics or something just to kind of get the room noise, and I think it really did work in our favor, because, it was a nice studio, but we we used the room to capture our authenticity. So like I did vocals in the big room, and and she didn't even put like the shield that goes on behind the microphone.
So it's just like full room sound then.
Right. So I got all natural reverb for the vocals.
That's what you want sometimes, man. Like you can get like the perfect fucking impulse for your reverb. You can fucking set up like all your fucking buses the way you want to, but sometimes you just have a good room. Mm-hmm. You know? Sometimes like I don't know. Rest in peace Sun Club, rest in peace Jimmy Jones After Party, but they both recorded albums in like giant fucking like sheds or like metal like enclosures or whatever, and like you can tell like it's like giant concrete floors, but like they sound like a fucking big old rock album. Like you want to sound like a band, you don't want to sound like a fucking recording. Like
I agree. And you fall into the trap too, I think. Just even if you did do it in a nice studio, engineers want to isolate everything these days, right? And then they're all about control, so they want to use a reverb, they want to use a delay, so they want to isolate everything so they can get the raw track and then just layer a bunch of computer bullshit on top of it. And that takes the authenticity completely away. So I think that it works in your favor to record that way, honestly. It's
really cool to listen back to. Hear inked.
I like the feeling of being one of those producers with that over control though over my own band. It's nice. It's annoying when you go to like record a band and like or record your own band and like the producer like shits all over your stuff and just makes it his own, but it's so nice whenever you're DIY doing it and I can just fucking I can like edit anything they do. I can add crashes where I want them. I can fucking change guitar sounds. Like it's like fuck you
until we were like, Josh, where's that mix?
Oh yeah. And then I've done like a million things but the toms still aren't mixed in properly. Like it's a problem. Plus my computer's dog shit, so like running down an export of a song takes like 8 minutes. So I'm running all these torrented VSTs and shit. Yeah, barely.
No, God.
The processor's still dog shit, so and it runs hot as fuck.
That's why. Okay, so one thing with this current single is that we were gonna do it like all DIY guitars, DI'd guitars even.
Yeah, digital amps and shit.
Yeah, disgusting. And that's why I've kind of also been hesitant to do it because it's like I want to have like real amps, you know? I want to get that nastiness that you get out of a real amp.
We suck at recording real amps, I feel like. Like, I don't know, man. I've been recording digital amps since I was, like, 15. Like, using fake drums and stuff since I was 15. Like, it's my bread and butter. I don't know how to do real shit.
C4 Cinema made it sound good.
C4 Cinema, shout out to them. They made Bias amp sound good somehow. I hate that shit.
Yeah, I know.
I use Guitar Rig, some fucking ancient-ass guitar software. I love that shit. It just sounds good. I don't know, man.
I mean, well, whenever I was in the Delzels, there were a few tracks, like guitar stuff, where they did do just DI and, like, put in a few...
Oh, hell yeah.
Like...
just like touch up an area, add some sounds and stuff, like
right.
Get that feedback track.
Right. So they did do some of that kind of stuff, and that can work in your favor too, for sure.
Oh yeah, you want to like add something, but you don't want to like pull out your fucking big ass cab.
Right.
At the end of Airplanes from the first EP, like at the end, the fucking lead that's like tremolo picked, like. That shit, that's all DI. That was me. Yeah. I stole Chris's part, so I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna play it. And I did. Because there's like that little harmony that's added. I'm like, Chris, you should play this. And that's how that part got added. So that's a little piece of Abelia history no one asked for.
Good. Well, do you have a date for releasing the single yet or anything?
Q1 of this year. No, I don't know. Maybe since we did this podcast, we'll fucking make Chris record it.
No, what's gonna happen is like we're gonna like rehearse like 2 or 3 times and then record it. More than likely. That seems to be like the course of things.
He's the only one who hasn't recorded it, so I take his word of gospel.
Yeah.
On you, buddy. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
we just got to get back into a groove. I mean, when we were like rehearsing consistently, it was like weekly practices. There's like really a focus on it. Then that was when the most progress was made. But it's been tough with all the corona and everything. It's like
for sure
having to weigh practice against like.
Are you guys still working?
Oh, I work remote. It's fucking lit. Chris got me a job at this fucking place where I just call people and do political polls. So I just like watch Hulu and like play Phantasy Star while I'm doing work all day. It's lit.
Nice.
I'm lazy as fuck. I don't do much. I'm getting a dad bod again. It's sad. I'm so fucking sedimentary right now. What about you, Cam?
Sedimentary?
Yeah, dude.
Sediment, like minerals?
Yeah, I'm like fucking cement, bro. Like I'm like a big old block.
Fungus.
Yeah, I'm like a fungus. I got fungus growing like
your Home Depot gravel.
Oh yeah. I'm nasty shit, bro. I'm heavy. I don't do shit. I don't go outside. It's nice. What about you, bro? You working?
I've been like video editing and stuff. I've had some filming. So it's like a lot of like with schools being out of session, I've gotten some like recruiting videos for like band programs and color guard and stuff like that, because they can't go out to to actual schools in person.
Oh wow! So you're video editing high school?
Yeah, it's kind of like a virtual choir kind of stuff where it's like
that's tight.
Like 5 or 6 different high schoolers submit videos of them playing like different instruments to a track, and then it's like layering the track and all of their different videos and doing like a grid kind of thing. Basically like music video, like remote music videos, but for high school students. Which is kind of cool.
That is cool. How'd you get linked up with that sort of thing? Did you start working through a school district or some shit?
Just through like some of my my drumline teacher in high school and drum teacher I took private lessons from in high school. I've stayed in contact with them just over the years, and so I've had some connections through them on like video stuff and everything, and so I've done some like drumline video production and everything for high schools, and that's kind of led into
cool. Yeah, that shit looks good.
Thank you.
That's a unique way to make money right now. So because I know you were a full-time musician, you didn't have a normal job except for maybe driving for Uber once or something.
Yeah, I was doing that for a little bit. I was kind of like not coming out of, but the full-time music thing was starting to be like a little shaky, and so I was like, tried picking up a full-time job for a couple months, and that I wasn't really feeling it. Like, that was such a culture shock going from full-time music back into like a full-time job. It was like, I can't do the office thing. Yeah. So then I was like, full-time music, and the video stuff has always kind of, been there. It's definitely a lot more income than music brings in.
Mm-hmm. It's a more tangible resource.
Yeah, so. And it's cool, like the connect between the two. Like I'm able to make music videos for bands and everything. And so I don't know. The Uber thing was just kind of like in between. If I'm having a tough time like finding gigs, then I'd be able to drive and make money that way.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Well, you're still staying afloat then with everything happened. Cool. I was kind of worried about that for you specifically, because like whenever all this went down, I was like, damn, dude, what about full-time musicians? And I was like, what about cameras?
If I didn't have the video thing, I would definitely have to have had picked up a job or something. Yeah. But fortunately, I have video editing and some video production stuff. So
yeah, and it's not like you can get unemployment because you didn't have any kind of job. So you would have been real fucked.
This podcast is just an intervention for you.
Almost this close. You got him.
That's 24/7, Chris.
It's chill.
I was actually gonna ask you, Josh. Did you ever live out here in Denton?
No, I had a girlfriend out here, and like I would come out here like every weekend and shit. Yeah, rest in peace. That's okay. That's Gucci. But
shout out to Melissa.
I don't care. But yeah, dude. I used to drive out here like hella. So I was like always in Denton, or like here for shows or whatever. I fucking hate Denton though. Like I hate driving. I hate driving in Denton. I hate driving in Dallas.
Welcome to the podcast.
I hate driving to Fort Worth. Like, there's no good place.
Is that where you live
shows.
Now? Then
I live in Irving right now.
Oh, okay.
Irving's like a little hot spot, a little between everything.
Yeah.
Not too big, not too small. I don't gotta pay for parking everywhere and shit.
Yeah. Fuck, dude. I used to live in Irving for a long
time. It's a nice chill place.
That's where I went to high school.
It's better than Grand Prairie. I'll tell you that much. Better than fucking Anna. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Anna's got a place in my heart.
Damn, what the fuck, dude? I don't know, man. Work's been pretty chill. Chris, like, What do you do at your job? You work remote half the time, right? Or all the time?
All the time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I don't think any of us are like going out and seeing people. This is like
This is the most social interacting I've had.
First time I've seen Abelia since fucking Corona.
Really?
I've only hung out with like one friend since Corona hit. That's it.
Yeah.
Like I don't do shit. I stay at home and play video games and work. Like I keep my mom. I protested one time, but I didn't get Corona from that. So fuck it. I don't know, man. Shit's kind of cool though. I wish fucking I don't know. Okay, wait. I'm about to get fucking canceled for this shit. I hope this shit gets even worse. I hope fucking gets worse. I hope quarantine locks down harder, and I hope we have to fucking like reorganize the way our country works. Like fuck, dude. Like give everybody free internet. Give everybody remote jobs. Give everybody just money. Like this is stupid. We're like I don't know. Our country's headed down such a crazy path right now. We're about to hit like. Automation's gonna replace shit. COVID's gonna fuck everybody up from being able to go out. Fucking like I don't know, man.
They're talking about as soon as maybe like 5 to 10 years, like cars that self-driving cars are going to replace the trucking industry.
Yeah, no, that's definitely happening.
Yeah, plus like
5 to 10 years. That's really soon.
And truckers are like usually like convicted felons that are like have trouble finding work, but they'll drive everywhere, anywhere for a low price for like hella overtime, like without sleep and stuff.
Right.
It's not low, but I mean they like don't sleep.
Yeah, I saw the back of a truck the other day say you can make $190K a year driving.
Okay.
So basically, you're gonna take that away from felons. They don't have jobs, and then like I don't know. It's a slippery slope leading back to just us imprisoning a lot of people, or like us reforming our entire way of work.
I mean, it's like it showed all of the essential workers, and most of the essential workers are like very underpaid.
Yeah,
right.
Which is like kind of shit.
$8 an hour.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Like that's a little backwards.
I have a friend of mine who's worked at Tom Thumb for 7 years. It's like the only job he's ever had since he was in high school or whatever. And I don't know how much he's making, but he's full time. But like his schedule is always changing. He never has any stability.
That's like the grocery store life, yeah. You gotta, like, buy for hours.
It's sort of sad because it's like this dude's in his, early, like almost mid-20s. You know what I mean? And it's like it's really frustrating to see someone have to go through that.
Oh yeah.
Just not ever having weekends off, or like not being able to really take a vacation whenever they want to.
One of the things about like grocery stores is like you theoretically can't work at a grocery store forever, and like your money starts piling up because of like the way their incentives work, and like you can get like pretty good positions and stuff, but like you got to go through so much bullshit until you get like a better position there.
It's almost like retail,
Yeah.
Because you can make a career at a retail, but
yeah, you could go manager, you could go cash office, you could do a few different things, but like you gotta wait for the person that works that job to quit. Like, I don't know.
It's really frustrating, and that's sort of the. I've actually just done a lot of personal research on this, just because I'm interested in it. I'm just a very big picture person, so just kind of tried to figure out what the direction is going to be like in the future. And the biggest problem right now is that we have this. It kind of goes back to the population issue, just there being too many people. But there's two things happening simultaneously. The first thing is that the baby boomer generation has stayed into jobs longer than I believe it was the silent generation. They stayed into jobs longer than the silent generation is, so the baby boomers are occupying like all of the highest level positions.
Yeah, they're hoarding power basically.
And they're not leaving until they're like in their 70s almost.
Or dead. It's due to a heart attack from overworking. Like, that's their life. They just work.
Big Macs, yeah.
And so the Gen X generation is occupying a lot of the mid-level positions now that are above poverty wages, that classify into what is considered middle class, and the millennial generation, which is a large time frame and spans to people reaching their mid to late 30s now, all the way to, I think my birthday year is the cutoff, so like people that are 26 now. We're competing with our parents' generation for those jobs that make enough to supply that level of middle class income. But our generation outnumbers the baby boomers, and the Gen X generation was relatively small compared to the baby boomers. So there's millions of people all over the country that are occupying all of these really shitty jobs that don't pay well, that are in their mid to late 20s, and there's all this pressure on them to make more money and be an adult and stop working a part-time job. But the reality is that
that's what's available.
The flip side of that is that technology and the way that we view work is just completely changed because of Amazon, basically. Delivery service all the time. And so opportunities for our generation are less than what they were than the Gen X generation. And we outnumber the Gen X generation as far as numbers-wise, and the baby boomers. So we're being double fucked.
One of the things about that is, like, I think population is kind of... I think that what it's been recorded as is that, people are slowing down having babies. I know for me, I'm never having a fucking kid. You couldn't pay me to have a fucking kid. Maybe I'd adopt a kid eventually. I'm not having a fucking kid myself. I don't want to fucking... I'm not even gonna get pregnant. I don't want to deal with that shit. Like,
you can't get
kids pregnant. Are fucking expensive. Like,
that's the number one reason why, they've done polls, and the number one reason people cite for not having a kid is just it being too expensive.
Yeah, I can't take care of myself, let alone another little me. Like, fuck that shit. Like,
and most people who are having kids are only having one kid, so they aren't even replacing themselves, and it's overall the U.S. Population is decreasing. The only reason that it's staying stable is because of immigrants who are coming into the country.
Right, yeah.
It's a huge thing.
We're, like, overall, I think, leveling off, like, our population. But, like, I mean, it's not even also that we have overpopulated, and that'll probably hit eventually. I think we might even out at some point. But, like, it's like...
Economic opportunities are not matching what the population is.
That's true.
What it is.
Plus, like, our actions as a population for being so big... Or I guess our actions don't really make sense with how big we are as a fucking population. If we have so many humans, we can't live the way we're living
I feel
forever.
like a lot of people forget that in the U.S., like, most of the area in the United States is rural, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, the most incentivized positions or, like, jobs in the area
are in the city.
are going to be in the city, but not everybody lives in the city. So what are you going to get while you're out in the middle of nowhere? You're going to want to work at either a car dealership or Amazon fulfillment center, you know?
Or
those are the high-paying jobs.
Start a farm, sell, like, beef. Like, that's an expensive thing to get into.
Well,
there's a lot of crazy things, but it's still hard work.
But running a farm is being government regulated to a point that where it's just profiting the big businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like,
there's, like, no real answer to it. That's the problem, is, like, automation's going to get worse, and we're not going to have jobs for people, and either lots of people are going to die, which is probably likely considering how Republicans have seemed to care, or even not even just Republicans, or Democrats too.
I'd say
they don't give a shit about poor people.
Don't care about people not having enough to survive off.
So we'll probably just end up dying en masse, and then they can either control us better, or maybe we fucking get some policies to actually reform everything, and we figure out a way to have work for people and money for people. But I don't see that happening. Like, I see our country fucking up way worse before it gets better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, we just vote Biden back in, and then
he forgets he forgets the Constitution.
Yeah. He forgets, and everybody else forgets there's a problem.
Everybody forgets the Constitution, just conveniently, and we just write a new one.
I think it's
Bill Burr has that no, it's Joe Rogan. He has that bit in his like latest stand-up release or whatever, or like if Thomas Jefferson came back and from the dead, and like his first question would be, "You guys didn't write a new one?" He's like, "I wrote that 300 years ago with a feather."
Dude, bouncing off of that whole fucking, speaking of Joe Rogan and Bill Burr going on Joe Rogan's podcast and like basically calling him a fucking hypocrite. That shit was hilarious.
Bill Burr calling Joe Rogan a hypocrite?
Yeah, he's basically like, you used to talk a bunch of shit about masks, and now you're like saying that masks are like completely ineffective and it's a waste of time, they're controlling us. And he's like, why were you just afraid before? And he's just like, it seems like he basically called him a fucking hypocrite. Yeah. Joe Rogan had
recent?
No defense. That was very recent. Yeah. That shit was hilarious.
Joe Rogan, he does that. I'll watch.
He just talks.
I'll watch a video. Yeah, and he just sort of. I think he's very agreeable. His personality is very agreeable.
He's agreeable, but he's also combative. You're not combative, but he wants to stir up shit with people.
Yeah, he's like a gorilla.
Yeah. Even if he agrees with you, he just wants to say off the wall shit just so that you have something to say. It feels like.
Right.
And Bill Burr is well spoken enough and angry enough to sit there and fire back at him. Most people are just like, they don't want to like engage with that. They don't want to. They'll just like laugh it off or just say their own piece. But Bill Burr is just like, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. Here's the reason why I said that is because I think Bill Burr. This is funny. I love watching Joe Rogan's podcast just because he has so many different kind of people on there. Yeah. But I have noticed this about him. He'll have someone on there. And it's also, he's been running it for a long time, so like you can even go back and listen to old stuff and realize like, oh, you've changed your view on that a lot,
Oh, yeah.
But Joe Rogan just seems to be like one of those people that always invites in new information.
Oh, yeah.
And considers it to the point where he kind of gets confused in the moment, and will say something that he was like denouncing.
It seems like he wants to
like
give
a
like
year
a safe
ago or whatever
for like crazy ideas, so that they don't like scare off. Like,
right?
You don't
I
bring
guess
someone
so.
on your show and just make fun of them, I guess. But in the end, like he ends up just saying some wild shit. But I mean, like he had Tom DeLonge on a show. That shit was cool.
That was
an idiot too.
That was a really weird podcast.
Yeah, that was kind of straight.
This is the most meta podcast where you just talk about other podcasts.
But Bill Burr, I've noticed he's just kind of set. You know what I mean? Like he's not. I don't think he's as open-minded as Joe Rogan is, at least. It's like he has his views. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's very set on his ideas. He knows what he wants.
For sure. So, yeah, I guess that's all we can really talk about now. You guys can't play shows. I guess I can ask you what would be one of the more memorable shows you have played. Something you're proud of, or that was really fun.
I'm proud of Plus Fest 1. First Plus Fest. That shit was so cool.
Plus
so fun.
Fest?
Yeah, Plus Fest. It's something that Danny Lackey.
Oh, okay, I know him.
He organized, and he got us a few other people to help him out in organizing it, and it was super cool. It was a cool experience to help out with that and to get that all going, especially because it was like a math rock centric type of small festival type of thing. He did Plus Fest 2. Plus Fest 3 obviously is not happening, but it will next year, hopefully. We'll see. But that's like my most memorable show, just because it was super fun and it was chill vibes. Definitely one of the cooler shows, I think.
Where was it at? You remember?
It's in Denton. It was on Rest in Peace Backyard on Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, it was at Backyard on Bell?
Yeah, Rest in Peace.
Oh, yeah, I was really upset whenever that venue closed.
Yeah, it's like one of the best venues.
That was surprising they'd invested so much in like their stage and the whole venue. It seemed like they were doing pretty well.
And they would actually play bands.
Well, there's a problem happening in Denton that Denton itself can't really keep up with, and that's just the fact that so many new things are being built that property value is going up and people are moving here, so that's causing the property value to go up even more. So these venues like Backyard on Bell are kind of running are kind of running into an issue of like keeping up with what the property is worth, and so the landlords are kind of upcharging to a point where the company can't like keep up. So that's why Backyard on Bell closed. But they were talking. I just asked what the most memorable show was that you guys played, and he mentioned Plus Fest. So
you said Plus Fest? Damn, that's really nice to Danny, but it's a lie.
What?
The most memorable show we played ever was, I'll set the scene. So we're doing one of our first Texas tours with Tia. We get to the venue, and we start drinking and smoking in the car. And so we're already vibing really hard, and then we walk into this fucking metal shed in San Antonio, and that's the one. I told you, bro. So Trying Science played that show. Older Than the Hills played that show. Who else played?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Older Than the Hills. Adrian's sitting there in fucking Austin, just living his best life.
Is that the one with the liquid lights?
Yes.
Yeah, we played this show, and there was the fucking 2 projectors set up with like, I guess like a clear plastic on top, and then you just put like colored liquids on top, so you would just like make them rotate and dance to our set over our band.
Someone's done that before at a show that I went to. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah,
he like does it for a few shows. So San Antonio guy.
Since it was like in some shed or whatever, like we just cranked our amps, and like we had this big, huge reverb sound.
That's cool.
It was crazy. Like honestly, I thought we played like shit, but then like I saw a video of it later.
We wore the masks in that one too, didn't we?
We hit that.
We tried. It was hard. I don't think Chris did.
No,
Chris never has his mask.
What? Oh, that like the
from the airplane
animal
music
mask.
video we did.
The horse mask.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had the horse. I had the pig. Fucking Tia has a tiger mask that we haven't aired yet, and
rest in peace.
Your boy fucking won't ever wear his duck mask.
I still have it though.
You have a duck mask?
Yeah.
Oh man,
bro, I've got 2 pig masks.
You should just wear it whenever you go out now. Just wear the duck mask.
I mean, you can't see shit out of it. Yeah.
We thought about doing like a fucking Corona like animal mask joke, but we don't hang out. So like, the thing is, bands that play together stay together, and Chris won't play Borderlands 3 with me, so we haven't been a band. That's facts. I'm just saying.
I've never played Borderlands. Apparently, it's fun. I've heard quite a few people mention it.
Yeah, just a loser shooter. Yeah. Plus, they got rid of the word midget in their latest game, so now it's like friendly. Like I don't know. Yeah, now it's perfectly fine.
They're called Tinks.
Yeah, they're called Tinks now.
It's really weird.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast. I guess we'll kind of end it here. We're kind of been close to the hour mark now, so.
Hour 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Hopefully, we'll get that single released.
Yeah, don't count
soon.
on it.
Yeah,
don't count on
next
it.
year.
Q1 2021.
All right, thanks for listening, guys. And if you want to be on the podcast in the future, this is probably going to be the last one that I do. I might do one more, but I'm not going to be accepting people for a little while, just until all this settles down again, because they've already closed the bars. So, but you can still email me if you want to be on the show at hickorystreetpodcast@gmail.com. It's hickorystreetstpodcast@gmail.com, and just shoot me a link to your music, or if you're an artist, visual artist, you can just send me your content, videos, pictures, whatever you do, and we can set up a date. All right, thanks for listening.